Hey hockey fans, welcome to another exciting matchup previews. Patrick Strong joined by the voice himself, and this one is a special one as the Flames finally look like they beat David and Goliath, you could say, of biblical proportions, as they had to finally climb the mountaintop and take out the Bobcats of Ohio, winning the second game 3-2 in overtime. Rhett, you've called a lot of Liberty hockey here in your career. Actually, we've called a lot together. And you were talking about top 5 in your book. So, take us through, just that whole weekend series, because it really was a playoff atmosphere.
There was. The first night, leading 2-0 going into the third period. You're thinking, okay, here it is. They're going to do it. And then they blow the lead and end up losing 3-2 in regulation. You're like, oh, my goodness. We're back on the roller coaster ride. And you think, maybe is this one of those games where it could kind of put you in a spiral for a bit? But then the next night, you come out, you get the first goal. They score one quickly afterwards. You kill off a 5-on-3. You're like, here we go. And then they score 10 seconds later. Brock Thompson comes down, gets a squeaker past Jimmy Thomas. So we're all tied up at 2, right? You think things are starting to look up, and they started to go up. And then we hit overtime, a goal called back. And then, oh my goodness, the emotions keep going. You score with 5 seconds left. Devin Pierce from a tough angle, too, just catches the net. And jubilation, he gives it the old Austin Matthews goal call. It was great to see. It was a lot of fun. It was definitely probably top 3 in my books for a game I've called here at the Lehigh Center.
And it's good to see, as you were touching on it, and also Caleb and Brett, they mentioned this too, but Flames kind of skated with a very top team, because now we know how good Ohio's been over the last couple of years, even playing in the national championship a couple seasons ago. But how huge is that for just the confidence of this team? Because, I mean, like I said, after they played Adrian, they felt like they could skate with him, even though the score didn't show it. And at times it looked like it did. But this time you finally were able to beat one of those top, not only top 10 teams, but even more so top 6 team in the country.
Yeah, it's huge for their confidence. I think it's one of those games where you have a younger team. Liberty's got their veterans, but still you think about the core group of guys here. Thompson and Ryan really haven't knocked off a top-end opponent in their tenure here. And now you have Gammer and Bohinski. They're able to be a part of that as well. So your kind of core offensive group, your guys, it's good to taste a win in that kind of environment, that atmosphere, that close checking, not a lot of ice to work with. Every inch means something kind of game. And the fact that they won in overtime, coming off a game where they blew a lead, I think it'll do a lot for them. Now, here's the trick. You can't get too high.
Oh, yeah.
You got to get back to that blue-collar work ethic the next game. And, we'll talk about the Violets here in a moment, but they are a tough team to play against in their own barn.
Absolutely, a tough team to play against. Well, we heard from the voice himself. Now hear from a member of the team, in Josh Bergen. He took us through not only the emotions the team felt Friday, but then also coming back Saturday, and then also what they're going to do to try to prepare for NYU coming up here this weekend.
Yeah, definitely Friday was disappointing going into the third period with a 2-goal lead. We definitely had that mindset that we were going to come out this weekend with 2 wins, but things turned around for us. They got some good bounces. They're a really good team, and it just so happened that they got 3 goals in the third. So that was really disappointing. It was a heartbreaking loss, but it also kind of kickstarted the guys into that mindset that we knew where we needed to go, what we needed to do. And because of that, we came with that tenacity on Saturday to play the game that we needed to. We knew that they were going to be tough. They were going to come out. They were going to battle hard right from the start. And because of that, we were able to rally together. Even when we got down, we just continued to battle through. And we got that lucky bounce. And when Brock scored, from that, took it into overtime. 4 seconds left, Piercy got it. And it was unbelievable to see the guys battle through. There was definitely some adversity with penalties. And because of that, you could just see the team rally together. And it was wonderful to see just the battle and the effort that everyone put in. Going into difficult rinks like NYU as well as Syracuse in the next 2 weekends that we play away, it's going to be tough. We know that they're able to play well in their rinks, so we just have to have that continued mindset that we are a top 10 team as well, and we can continue to play and battle the best that we can. There's nobody that can beat us if we play a full 60 minutes. So long as we continue that mindset, we're going to be golden for the rest of the year.
And yeah, Brett, the Flames really do control their own destiny. You just said they can't get complacent, and what I mean by controlling their own destiny, obviously they still want to chase that top 5 ranking, but it's all about the auto bid going into nationals. And really, they have NYU. Then after Thanksgiving break, they have Syracuse, who pretty much skated with arguably the defending champs, and
Yeah.
some people say the top team in the country in Adrian. So, like, how do the Flames keep kind of this momentum continuing?
I just think it goes back to what they did well in that game, and that was they converted on the power play in the second game. They scored 2 power play goals against Ohio. Their PK was excellent again, and you got to give credit to guys like Hayes and Andy Clark and those guys. Those are the kind of guys you need to win a national championship, and just the work that they do on the PK, they're just as valuable as the goal scorers because you're preventing goals and they're just doing it at such an efficient rate. Those guys are fantastic. And then you think about the Flames defense. Last year he had Sharts and those guys. I know I'm kind of getting off on a rabbit trail here, but just bear with me. And he had Sharts, who was he was the premier offensive defenseman in the ACHA. And then you have a guy like Bergen, who we're just talking to, jumps in the top 4, and he's obviously a very different style of defenseman than Sharts, but he plays this game. He's banging bodies. He was just crushing people last weekend, which is fun to see. So I think you just have to take that little seed of what you did so well in that second game and just put some water on it and let it bloom.
And speaking of letting things bloom, the Flames are trying to bloom themselves to 2 wins this weekend.
Yeah.
So what is it going to take for the Flames to play in NYU? Because, I mean, last year, first time they ever met the Violets, and the Violets were able to come back after being down 3-0 in that game.
Well, I think a large part of it's going to be the fact that you've played there now. All right, so last year's your first trip up there to NYU's rink, and you find out all the odd bounces and the little weird things they do there, because I hear it's a really interesting place to play. I kind of want to travel there myself, to be honest, just to check this place out. So now that you have the experience, I think it's just limiting their chances. They did some things well while they were here, but Liberty played a solid 2 games against them here at the LIC, and I think you just take what you did, build off of it, kind of polish off the rough edges if there were any, and the penalties were a problem then. You can't do that when you travel to opposing barns because they get the last change there, and that means so much in collegiate hockey. So you do those things. I know it's kind of vague and it's coaches speak, but what it takes to win on the road. It's not like they have one premier guy that's leading the league in points and you have to shut him down. They play a team game, so you yourself, the Flames, need to play a team game, use their depth of scoring, and it'll be interesting to see. They did some line changes with the Flames going into Game 2, which kind of changed again mid-game, and Bohinski was back with Pierce, but will they change it up again? I doubt it. I think you'll see Thompson and with Ryan, and then hopefully Zachariah Roberts is okay, and they'll kind of have the lines back to normal. But if not, I'm a big fan of the Clark brothers and Carlson line. I love the size that line has, and I think Hayes actually played one of his better games this past weekend. He had the legs going and was looking dangerous on that third unit. So a lot of things going right now for Liberty hockey.
Well, Flames definitely are hoping to be able to build off their foundation that they were able to have this weekend and keep the momentum rolling as they take on the Violets on the road. Make sure to follow the Flames on social media, as we always tell you to do every week. You want to. You got to get your daily dose of the Flames always. And that will also be how you're able to keep track of how they're doing this weekend. But thank you for tuning in. For Patrick Strawn and Brett McGibbon, we'll see you next time.